Well, hey everybody, we want to welcome you to the first segment of Rap Week. And today we want to ask this question: why should we talk to our kids about pornography? Now the simple answer is because if you don't, someone will. Okay? But I want to give you 5 A's as to why pornography is such a big issue in our world today. First of all is that pornography is available. It's just, it's everywhere. And online is what makes it so available. The second thing is it is accessible. Anytime, any place, anywhere, it can be accessed. Also, it's affordable. Much of pornography out there is initially free. You don't have to pay for anything. It's just out there. It's free to consume in many places. Also, it's anonymous. It's something that you don't have to go to back in the day you had to go to a drugstore, you had to go to a place, find somebody that had a magazine or found their dad's magazines under the bed, whatever. But now it's rather anonymous, and that can be dangerous. Also, a final A I'll add is that it's aggressive. In other words, the people that produce this pornographic content are gunning for you. They're wanting to get this content to you so that they can hook you, and they want lifelong customers. That's what really that is about, and that is why kids are often targeted in this. Your kid might be typing a certain thing, and if they spell something wrong, or even if they're looking for something rather pedestrian, they may stumble across something that will try to hook them in. That's how it works. At an early age, the stats are out there, the research is out there that the average age, and this can be a little bit scary, is usually around 11 years old. Children are exposed to pornography. Sometimes it's earlier, sometimes it's a little bit later. That is the average age. And so what happens is, because pornography, all kinds of things happen when you view pornography. Your brain gets involved. One of the things it does is the neurons, they create these pathways. The more we do an activity, the stronger and the wider that pathway becomes. And so because pornography is addictive in nature, it will create very strong neural pathways. So the other reality of pornography is that the more someone is exposed to it, oftentimes what happens is it leads to more and more aggressive and dominant and abusive forms of pornography, violence really. And so that's significant to understand. As a culture, we are really paddling upstream with this, for the simple reality that pornography has really been and being normalized. In other words, it's just seen as a normal thing that people do. Increasingly, women are using pornography. And with that, we need to find a balanced approach, because technology is often the gateway in which pornography is viewed. I want to put out a practical challenge to you as parents, that if you do not have a plan for technology in your home with the devices that you have, I want to strongly encourage you to develop a plan. Depending on the age of your children, as they get a little bit older, they get older at elementary, I want you to make sure that if you can, include them in this. This is not something that should just totally be top down. Now, when kids are real little, parents, you need to be parents and say, hey, we're going to do this, and this is the path we're going to go. And kids always will need guidance, but bring them into the planning of this, about talking about, okay, how much time should we be on the internet? How much, what kind of filters do we need? What kind of software do we need to navigate this well? Because here's the reality, the internet's not going anywhere. Technology is not going anywhere. And so we as parents, we want to help navigate our kids through this, so that if they get an exposure at some point, we'll be able to look at our plan and correct that plan if we need, and help our kids right again. I want to end with just words from Deuteronomy chapter 6. If you know anything about the context of this, God is calling his people to just wholehearted commitment, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. It's this Jewish prayer that they would pray several times a day called the Shema. But in verse 7, there are some very pointed words to parents. And here's what it says. Repeat these words again and again to your children. Talk about them when you're at home and when you're on the road and when you are going to bed and when you're getting up. And I want to encourage you to think about this passage of the role of parents in the life of children when it comes to the issue of pornography. My prayers are with you. I want to encourage you to repeat not only God's commands, to love with all of our heart, our mind, and our strength, and our heart, our soul, but also to repeat these things to them and talk about the issue of pornography as it plays out in our world.